So before I get in this video, let me invite you to like this channel, subscribe to, excuse me, God. So before I get in this video, let me invite you to subscribe to this channel. Please like this video, like all my other videos. I would greatly appreciate it. Now, let's get down to it. So, with all the recent turmoil going on in this country with police brutality, racism, and all the other stuff, and people just pretty much fighting towards each other, it reminded me of a time where I was a victim of racism. Now, let me tell you something. Being from South Carolina, living in South Carolina, I've been a victim of racism plenty of times. Like, it's almost normal around here, and I don't care what anybody says. It's pretty normal down south, especially in South Carolina. So, but I just want to talk a little bit about how racism is just it's something that really needs to be dealt with, and it needs to be addressed. It needs to be addressed immediately. And a lot of people run from it because I guess it makes people uncomfortable. And I get that. We as human beings, we don't like things that makes us uncomfortable. We don't like to see change. We like things like boom, black and white, and then that's it. But the fact of the matter is, like, racism does exist, and Black Lives Matter. Let me say it again, Black Lives Matter. Yes, they do. Now, for all you who I feel are here to cause commotion, cause trouble, let me go ahead and rebuke all the little foolish little claims that you make right now. Yes, all lives matter. We get that. That's not what we're trying to say here. What we probably should start saying is Black Lives Matter too, instead of saying Black Lives Matter, because people hear that, they hear, oh, well, you don't care about any other races. No, that's not what we're saying. Let me give you an example. You know, when the guy in Boston bombed the Boston Marathon, and everybody went Boston strong. Nobody said, well, what about all the other cities? Nobody said that. When the guy went on a shooting rampage in I think it was Vegas, I believe, nobody said, everybody was like, stand with Vegas, Vegas strong. Nobody was like, oh, what about my city? My city has violence. Nobody said that. So that just goes to show you, that right there is what I like to call borderline racism. I don't even know if that's a term, but I like to call that borderline racism. And, that's something that just goes to show you that the people who say things like that just really don't, it makes them uncomfortable to discuss stuff like that. They don't want to address it because I think a lot of times too, they don't know. They don't know what to say. So yes, all lives matter, but right now we're talking about ours. All right. I don't ever want nobody to think that I'm a racist and I don't like white people, because if you know me personally, you know that ain't true. That's the furthest thing from the truth. But that's some of the things you need to think about when you say all lives matter. I'm not for the rioting. I'm not for the looting. I'm not for the stealing. Listen, I am not here to advocate that. But this is the sad thing about that. Unfortunately, it's come to that. I saw a comment on Facebook not too long ago, and the lady said, well, when a child throws a tantrum, do you give them what they want? Well, great point. The answer is no. However, if you are a good parent and you're doing your job as a parent, what you should do is you should take care of all the child's needs and just a few of their wants. All we need is equal opportunity. All right? So if your child is asking for food, clothing, shelter, water, and you go years without giving it, guess what's going to happen? You're going to see some rebellion. So miss me with all that. All right. Like I said, I'm not advocating for looting and tearing up the city and all that. I am for peaceful protest, but I'm not advocating for looting and tearing up things, because unfortunately, I hate to contradict myself, but that's not the answer, but sometimes that's what it has to come to. A lot of times we'll say violence is not the answer, but if a kid gets bullied for 3 to 6 months at a time, and finally he comes to school and he says, I has enough, and wham, he knocks out the bully, guess what? Something to think about. So I hope I rebuked all the foolishness that you plan on coming on this post with, because I'm here for it. I like to share a personal experience I had. It was about 5 years ago. I remember being on my Instagram and saying that it was recent, but this was pretty much the last time that I was able to legitimately spot blatant racism. This was back in 2000. This was about April of 2015. And my wife and I, we was trying to celebrate our first wedding anniversary. We had only been married a year. And we needed to get away because a close friend of ours had passed away from our church probably about 2 weeks prior to that. So we really needed to get away. So we had all these plans on going to Daytona, and we ended up postponing the trip because of the death of our good friend. So ended up going to Daytona 2 weeks later. And let me tell you something, Daytona Beach, Florida is very racist. I mean, that's just my experience. Maybe you had a better experience there, maybe not, but that's just my experience. And it was several little small incidents that went on when we was in Daytona. I remember being at the Bob Evans, and I was waiting for the waitress to clean our table off, because the people before us, the table was still dirty. My wife asked them to clean it off, and she cleaned it off, but the lady behind me that was already seated had her purse kind of hanging off her chair. And she saw me standing there, and she was like literally like just looking up at me like this, like clenching the purse. And I mean, I'm really just wondering, it could be just me, but I'm really just wondering what would have happened if a white guy would have been standing there. I'm pretty sure a lot of white guys walk by and she didn't do that. So I'm just standing there just waiting for my table to be clean, and then this is what happens. We went to a few drugstores and gas stations, pick up little snacks or little things we needed that we forgot to bring with us. And one lady at the CVS, she was just so rude. I mean, just as rude as she wanted to be, just snappy and act like she didn't want to be there. And my first thought was, well, okay, maybe she just having a bad day. Maybe she don't want to be here. But when all the white people were being rang up, it was just nothing but pleasure. Again. And let me make another point before I move on into the main story. I don't hate white people. I'm not racist. I don't think that all white people are like that, but I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. But I know if I see something and it's confirmed, then I'm running with it. So here's the story. We were at a mall. I can't remember the name of the mall in Daytona Beach, Florida. And of course, if you know me, I was sneaker shopping. I was just looking around, looking for some stuff. And we went into a department store. I want to say we went into the Macy's at that mall. And I really had to go to the bathroom. Sorry, too much information, but I really had to pee. I mean, it is what it is. So we were at the cologne counter, the perfume counter, cosmetic counter, whatever you want to call it. And the ladies at the counter, they were real nice. And I told my wife, I was like, baby, I really got to pee. I'll be right back. She was like, all right, well, I'll just wait right here. And I noticed from my left, there was a security guard in the store. Now, first of all, that was a little abnormal. I don't see that down south too much, like real security guards in the department store. So as I was walking, I noticed over my left shoulder, my right shoulder actually, he was following me. Didn't think nothing of it. I thought maybe he had to go to the bathroom too. He was trying to beat me there. I didn't know. And I went to the bathroom. It took me a little while for whatever reason. I can't even remember. But before I move on into what happened next, I want to tell you something that was real mind-boggling to me. When I tell you that this man had the most, he resembled George Zimmerman so much, it was just unbelievable, and I couldn't believe it. And I think that's where the Trayvon Martin incident happened, was Florida. I don't think it was Daytona Beach, but I know it was Florida. And this man he almost a spitting image of George Zimmerman. But again, I didn't think nothing of it. I just went to the bathroom. I was minding my business. I come out of the bathroom, and there he is standing there again. Okay, now I'm irritated because you waited You waited a little over 6 minutes for me to come out of that restroom. I had a problem with that. Because I'm sure a lot of other people was walking around that store and could have just been, you know, stealing, doing whatever they wanted to do, but you was watching me. Got an issue with that. But I know how things work. Once again, we can't have knee-jerk reactions to everything. So I was like, whatever. It is what it is. Left the bathroom. Now, mind you, the department store like long. So I went all the way to the front of the store from the bathroom, which was all the way in the back, and he's following me again. Now, I'm thinking at this point, when I go to the cologne counter where my wife is still waiting with the 2 associates, he's just gonna go about his business. Oh no, he stood there and he watched every single thing that we did. So it was a little game that the ladies at the cologne counter was trying to get us to play so we can win some free samples. And I started to tease the ladies a little bit. If you know me personally, you know I like to I like to have fun, talk a little smack. So I was like, all right, now don't be trying to load the dice or nothing like that. Don't be trying to cheat me or nothing like that. It was like, oh no, we wouldn't do nothing like. I mean, it was all fun between the 2 ladies, and I think it was 3 of them, and I think two were white and 1 were black. But it was all fun with them, nothing against them. And you know, George Zimmerman II was standing over there to his left, and I mean, he is still looking me directly in my eye. And at this point, I'm really getting irritated. So let me pause again for a second. One thing I noticed on social media, all the bad stuff always gets recorded. Nothing prior to the incident gets recorded. So it's a lot of information that's left out. So for me to go off on this man and be like, look, you SOB, why you following me, X, Y, and Z, that would have really made me look like I was just throwing a tantrum for no reason. All right. So I ain't do that, even though I wanted to. So what was funny was we ended up winning the free samples, and they was like, y'all want to play again? I was like, nah, you might try to cheat me this time again. They was like, oh no, that's gonna happen. And George Zimmerman Jr., the third, the second, whatever you want to call him, he comes opening his mouth. Yeah, I'll be here to make sure that doesn't happen. I almost lost it. All right. So I'd already told my wife, by the way, that the guy was following me. I think I left that out. And I think I sprung forward as if I was ready to charge him. And I was like, yeah, buddy, I bet you will. You've been watching me the whole time. And then my wife kind of just, you know, you ever tried to hold somebody back? You know what I mean? She kind of did one of those. I was like, let's go. Because I feel like I'm being spied on. And the ladies at the counter were like, once again, he just stood there with this cold stare in his face. And all I can think about was the Trayvon Martin incident. And I mean, I've been racially profiled before, but never like that. I've been watched in a store, but I was never followed. You know what I mean? So that incident really upset me, and that let me know that racism is still a thing. Like, I never stopped believing that it wasn't a thing, but like people, I think what was that thing Will Smith is saying? He said racism is getting recorded more. It's not being exposed. I forgot, it was something like that. Y'all know what I'm talking about. He said it's just being recorded now. The racism is being recorded. And like I said, I didn't want to fall into one of those traps where I'm yelling and cussing this guy out, and it's looking like I'm just cussing him out for no reason. Because of course, whoever starts recording, they didn't record when this dude followed me all through the store when I'm trying to use the bathroom. So yeah, that had me kind of hot. Let me conclude this video with this, okay? Just because my skin is darker, and I'm gonna tell you something, me being muscular does not help, all right? But just because my skin is darker does not automatically make me a threat, okay? Listen, I get it. Don't come with the foolishness in this video. Don't come in the comments, you know what I mean? If you driving and you speeding and you get a ticket, oh well, suck it up. It's happened to me before. And I wasn't mad because the police gave me a ticket because I was black. I was mad because I got caught. Point blank, period. All right? That's all it is to it. If you are a person who, I don't know, if you robbed a bank And the time for robbing the bank is 50 years. You get 50 years. Oh, well, you're not going to hear me screaming, free my cousin, blah, blah, blah. You know what? If you rob that damn bank, you deserve all the time that the law says that you should get. Not, okay, this is just a routine traffic stop. I'm asking for drivers. I'm asking for license and registration, and I shoot them. All right? That George Floyd incident, I don't care what nobody says. That crap shouldn't have never happened. All right? The world watched this man choke that man out over what could have been some counterfeit money. He didn't have no proof. All right? That incident where that kid was jogging down the street, minding his own business, trying to work on his own health, trying to run, exercise. When them grease balls shot that kid like that, shouldn't have never happened. Don't give me that mess about, oh, they should have complied, blah, blah, blah. I've seen plenty of videos. Matter of fact, I just watched two videos today where I saw a person that was not black make a cop run for his life. Cop tased him, cop ran for his life. Dude jumped in his car, got the spinning wheelies and all that, jumped back out the car and hauled ass down the street. All right? Comply, comply, comply. He didn't comply. He's still alive though. Okay? Y'all understand something. I had a family. I had a daughter, you know what I'm saying? That love me. That rely on me and my income. Okay? So don't take something from me because you were scared. All right? You become a cop so you can protect and serve and make a difference. Now, I'm not trying to be the armchair quarterback or nothing like that, but I have done security, all right? And I've been in situations where we had to take people down, but we did not kill them. As a matter of fact, I'll give you an example. It was one incident when I was working in mental health. It was 3 of us that took this guy down. And when he said he couldn't breathe, we let him up. But we warned him, if you make a false move, you going back down. The man said he can't breathe, you let him up. Point. That's all it is to it. All right? Y'all need some more training. You know, y'all, if you're afraid of black people, don't become a cop. If you're afraid of any human being, you need. I really don't know how to help you. All right, but police officers, being on the police team is not the answer. And for anybody who wants to, anybody that's my color who wants to rebuke what I'm about to say by saying that I know good cops. Yes, I do. I have worked with them before they became cops. They are good cops. All right. Don't give me that nonsense. All cops are bad. You can't convince me of that. Okay. I know plenty of cops that know that's had a ton of training within the job and outside the job and know exactly what to do whenever a situation arises. Those are the kind of cops that you want. All right. Y'all supposed to protect us from the bad people. You're not supposed to be the bad people. All right. So, you know, my emotions running kind of high right now because I'm just sitting here thinking like, you know, here I am with a 2-year-old. Now, what my wife's supposed to do if I don't come home? What's she gonna tell my child? All right. Richland County, if that happened here to me, what you gonna tell my child? What you gonna tell my wife? What you gonna tell my mama? You understand what I'm saying? And for all my allies out there, I see y'all. I really do see y'all. Okay? I just want to let y'all know. Thank you for riding with us. All right? Because you know that you hadn't walked in our shoes, but you can walk alongside us and say that you're with us and not against us, and you're not scared of somebody because they skin dark or because they got muscles. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm gonna leave you with that, man, because I'm getting fired up in this room. Like, subscribe, reshare. You know, I've calmed down a little bit. One of the things that I forgot to add to this video was the discussion about black on black crime. Listen, I'm not, like I told you initially, I'm not for violence against anybody. All right? I'm not for the murder of, I'm not advocating for blacks killing blacks. But one thing you need to understand, that is a term that has been coined by people that's not black who just, come up to create another narrative to erase the current one. So what I mean by that is, if you live in an all-black neighborhood, you're more than likely to commit acts of violence and crime against your own neighbors, the people closest to you. So why don't we ever say white on white crime? Something to think about. So I know I said I was done talking, but I really felt like I really needed to add that part. All right.